America. Oh, his dad. Oh, his father.
It's your wife, Father. She's hurt.
Annie?
She was hit by a truck and she's pinned against a tree.
I don't understand.
As long as the truck has her pinned, she'll stay alive.
I still don't get it.
This is your wife.
She broke her wiener?
Look what happens to the taco.
Look, I don't understand all this fancy medical lingo.
Never control yourself. What makes you think you can control these things?
You're in control. You be head of the council. You choose. And you choose quickly, too.
I should have put you down myself. Personally.
You know, I never understood that. Why did you judge me? Why did you judge me?
You killed innocent people.
The means to an end.
You started a massacre.
I caused the revolution.
You betrayed the law!
Basically the worst parts of the Bible.
Enjoy these final moments of peace, for I have returned to have my vengeance.
This is a Class 1 quarantined planet. The threats we will be facing are real. Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans. Every single decision we make will be life or death. But if we are going to survive this, you must realize that fear is not real. It is a product of thoughts you create. Now, do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real. But fear is a choice. Do you know where we are?
No, sir.
This is Earth.
On Friday, December 21st, people will be praying, meditating, and connecting with us from thousands of homes, synagogues, mosques, churches, and various sites throughout the world, including Stonehenge, Chichen Itza, the temples in India, the pyramids in Giza, Times Square, and more. We're the ones we've been waiting for. If not now, when? If not you, who?
How about new, you crazy Dutch bastard?
Oh, snap. I've been waiting for me to come along. And now I've swept myself off my feet.
Hey, girl, hey.
Who are they?
Yeah. They're not better than me.
Of course not.
Who are they?
They're nobody.
What about me?
What about you?
Why them? Why not me?
Why not you?
I'm just as good as them.
Better.
Yeah. You really think so?
No.
Who's he?
He's somebody.
What about me?
You're nobody.
Why him? Why not me?
He's good. You're not.
I'm better than him.
You're worse. Much, much worse.
How dare you! Thou shalt not bow down before any graven image.
Watch out! Watch out!
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose.
What good is that faith when it's a lie?
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of the Delta II with Grail on a journey to the center of the moon. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of the Atlas V with Juno on a trek to Jupiter. T-minus 10, 9, 8, go for main engine start. 7, 6, main engine ignition. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis as Columbus sets sail on a voyage of science to the space station.
You think I'm playing?
To make sure things were successful. We designed pieces to be taken apart from Hubble. Solar arrays could come off, scientific instruments could come out and be replaced, or we got new technology.
Launch on my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Launch. Sequence reset. Ignition.
Launch. Light roll-off occurs. The shackles release. The X-15 engine is started.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and launch.
There you go.
You getting that good?
There we go.
The ground, yeah?
Yeah, it's pulling.
Pulling, is it?
Yeah.
Just look at it.
Were deceived. And now your republic shall fall.
The earth is at peace. There are no wars. There is no hunger. Honesty, courtesy, and kindness are practiced by all. The world has never been more perfect. It is no longer your world.
uncle. I used to think you were crazy.
I know.
But now I can see your nuts.
What are they doing?
They're testing to see if she's a bad nut. Oh my goodness. She is bad nut after all.
So when is a handshake more than just a handshake? When it's there to signify an allegiance to a secret society. When it's there as a symbol to let other members know that you're with them. All through the ages, secret societies have used secret gestures and signs to allow themselves to know one another. To let you know just who's in this pack. So when is a wave more than just a wave? When it's meant to signify something to those in the know. Those who belong to the secret societies. Now most of you think these are guys that just dress up in silly outfits and ride around in little scooters. They may seem innocuous enough. But Tex Mars has compiled all the information to let us know the secret hidden codes of the Illuminati and to show us that it's not all fun and games.
Well, Freeman, you know, there's certainly nothing wrong with a military salute, and as an Air Force officer myself, thousands of times I saluted, and it's a sign of a greeting. It's a sign of, well, it's in a sense, it's a sign of superiority, officer over enlisted too, and of camaraderie. But I also noticed this, that there are many people who make the salute in a different way. You know, some very crisp and military-oriented, and some sort of lackadaisical. But you know, when a salute is a salute, regardless of, you know, this or that, or, you know, the various forms of it. And so in this book, I tried not to be dogmatic. I understand that in the process of talking and interacting in daily life, that our hands may end up in funny places. And so I don't want to stretch facts, but what we're going to see, I know, in this series of slides and images, we're going to see hand signs quite often that are improbable. They're not by accident. They're designed on purpose. They are a form of occultic or satanic art. And you know, it's interesting, Marshall McLuhan, the famous Canadian who wrote about the media and how the media was able to brainwash people.
A type of mindset. That's really what it is. It's a mindset that people are being placed into. And so now we're seeing open Satanism around us all over the place.
That's what it is. It is a form of Satanism. Now remember, people in many of the secret, well, there's an example right there. Pat Robertson, you see that as a very irregular. People don't pose for a picture with their hand looking like a claw.
Right.
And of course this has to do with the one of the Masonic signs, in which he's basically saying that if I divulge the secrets of the order, may my breast be torn out and put on top of a steeple and the vultures tear at it, and all. So he has taken a hideous, just grotesque oath in his Freemasonry, and so this is the sign. Now, interesting, that very photo was placed on the cover of Time magazine when Pat Robertson of the 700 Club ran for president of the United States.
Wow.
As a sign to all those out there, you know, I'm one of you, and ha ha ha, aren't we putting one over on the public? But you can see
go to the next
the look on his face, and you see the claw. I call it the claw, but actually it's the fellowship or the fellowcraft degree of Freemasonry. Yeah, there it is. This is from an old Masonic manual Freeman, as you can see, the drawing. In the book, we use Richardson's Monitor of Freemasonry, Mackey's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, so many textbooks right from secret societies, Rosicrucian manuals, the Order, the OTO. So many of the occult secret societies, we use their own drawings and manuals. So you can't deny that Pat Robertson is giving that sign. It's right out of one of the secret society manuals. He is a member of that secret society.
Absolutely, but we're dealing with an order of death.
Yeah. We see this. This is probably in Germany, the Death's Head Corps of the Gestapo and so forth. And of course, the Death's Head has been borrowed by the Order of Skull and Bones as one of their symbols, as you know, with John Kerry being a member, Senator John Kerry, and George W. Bush, and his father as well. So here we have an occult brotherhood of death right here in America at Yale University. 15 young men, only the elite. I mean, if you or I went to Yale University, even if we could afford to get in, and we had the influence to get in, we're not going to be able to join. We're not going to be tapped, as they call it, for the Order of Skull and Bones, and live in the tomb next to a cemetery. That's where they live. They live adjacent to a cemetery for their senior year, and they're sort of outfitted and prepared for the world.
And knowing this crew, I really believe that HW would have used some ritual and also psychological warfare on his own child to bring him up in a particular...
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure of that. Many of these people have all kinds of rituals and requirements. I believe that many of them in their mansions, and I have proof of this, have various satanic idols and even altars set up with black candles and worship Baphomet and other false gods. And it's so incredible because we see them, Bill Clinton, he takes his Bible in hand, he walks over to a Methodist church down the street from the White House when he was in office on Easter Sunday, right after, of course, he had sex with Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office. He goes to church. But in fact, these people are members of the Bohemian Grove, the Order of Skull and Bones, and they do various hand signs, have various rituals, and they're not at all Christians. Not at all.
Not even close. See, I found this picture of Jesus giving a hand sign. There was an article about Jesus being a Freemason, and they...
Oh, is that right?
But we know, of course, that the Templars and the Masons have a large deal to do with building cathedrals.
They do, because there's such a thing as occult or sacred architecture.
Yes.
And I noticed on the intro to this program, a tremendous job you did showing some of the buildings even in downtown Austin with some various messages embedded in the very architecture.
Yes.
Of these buildings. So it's interesting, if Satan is prince of the power of the air, a demon, if you will, a devil, then is he not flying in the skies above, sometime looking down and saying, isn't it wonderful? The world is patterned after my design. And the Masons, of course, call themselves, they say they worship the grand architect of the universe.
Which was written by highly respected Masonic authorities, which describes the secret doctrine of the Masonic Lodge. I am not a Masonic authority and want to make that clear, but the authors selected include men who are widely acclaimed as Masonic authorities. The material consists of photographs or close-ups of Masonic books with critical text underlined. Whenever a new book is introduced, I will show the cover and/or the title page and identify the author. From that point on, I will just show the pages of interest. The quotes are shown in context. I will attempt to let the Masonic authors inform us about the secret doctrine in their own words, and from time to time, I'll ask questions which will be answered by the writings of these highly respected Masons. I will summarize what they have said and try to draw conclusions from it. page 15 of the Masonic textbook for West Virginia, and we read, "The Masonic student of the future may, however, by careful study through its symbolism, discover and bring to light many of its lost characteristic features now hidden in the letter of its history and lessons as portrayed in the ancient manuscripts and repeated by Dr. Anderson." They are saying that by careful study more can be learned. On page 35 of the Indiana Monitor and Freemason's Guide, we find the same declaration of principles that was in the Indiana Blue Book of Masonic Law. And we see they write again, "It is a social organization only so far as it furnishes additional inducement that men may foregather in numbers, thereby providing more material for its primary work of education, of worship, and of charity." We see that each man raised to Master Mason in Indiana is told that the purpose of the lodge is education, worship, and charity. The fine print at the bottom explains that the Declaration of Principles is included in the Monitor to refute willful misrepresentation. The second line that's underlined in red says, "It impresses upon its members the principles of personal righteousness and personal responsibility." At this point, we run into just a bit of a problem because the Bible states, "As it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one."
Really?
The Lost Keys of Freemasonry is highly regarded by Masons and Masonic authorities. Later we will see an endorsement of it. Manly Palmer Hall just died in 1990, and he was a highly respected Masonic author and lecturer. Keep in mind that we're still trying to find out the true nature of the lodge. This is the title page for the Lost Keys of Freemasonry. It's by Manly Palmer Hall. We notice he's also the author of Masonic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian Symbolical Philosophy. And we're going to see that book later. Notice down at the bottom that it is published by the McCoy Publishing and Masonic Supply Company. That's the leading Masonic publisher and supplier. This is page 19 of the Lost Keys of Freemasonry. And I want to show you Hall's opinion of the lodge. He says the Masonic Order is not a mere social organization, but is composed of all those who have banded themselves together to learn and apply the principles of mysticism and the occult rites. This sign is on the front of a Prince Hall Masonic temple. That's the Black Lodge. Notice that the word temple appears on the sign of this lodge. The sign doesn't say Masonic Clubhouse or Masonic Social Hall, but rather Masonic Temple. This is the entrance to the Grand Lodge of Indiana. Notice above the door the sign Masonic Temple. Even the Grand Lodge entrance acknowledges that the building is a temple.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
We are often limited in our understanding when we assume that one of our existing paradigms matches with the reality of something new. As an example, suppose that you have never seen or heard of an airplane. You've ridden in cars and on trains, but for some reason you've not been exposed to the idea of manned flight. Now suppose someone were to get you into a small plane, say a Cessna 150. The pilot starts the engine and begins down the runway. The plane goes faster and faster towards the end of the runway. You may be impressed with the speed and even alarmed if you see the end of the runway fast approaching, but you wouldn't expect that you're about to leave the ground. All you have to model your understanding on is your experience with cars and trains. You are limited by your paradigms. Once the plane leaves the ground, you develop a new paradigm very quickly. The same is true about the material we are looking at here. Don't assume that what you are reading was written by Christians. Masonic writers do not have an orthodox paradigm of Jesus, God, Satan, salvation, baptism, deity, etc. They intentionally clothe their writings in Christian terminology in order that Christians will be limited by their paradigms. In order to understand the nature of Freemasonry, we have to look at Masonic writings from the perspective of someone who does not believe that Jesus is the only Son of God. When reading the Masonic quotes, try to switch paradigms and see how the meanings change.
What the hell was that?
This is page 38 of the Indiana Masonic Monitor. It's also known as the Indiana Monitor and Freemason's Guide. We're going to look down at the bottom of the page. It says, the legend of the third degree. This is the most important and significant of the legendary symbols of Freemasonry. It has descended from age to age by oral tradition and has been preserved in every Masonic rite practiced in any country or language with no essential alteration. So we have a document from the Grand Lodge of Indiana that clearly states that the legend of the third degree is the most important symbol of Freemasonry. There's more information on the legend of the third degree and on page 144 of the Indiana Masonic Monitor. Let's look again at the bottom of the page. And they write, it was the single object of all the ancient rites and mysteries practiced in the very bosom of pagan darkness to teach the immortality of the soul. This is still the great design of the third degree of Masonry. The top of the next page. This is the scope and aim of its ritual. By its legend and all its ritual, it is implied that we have been redeemed from the death of sin and the sepulcher of pollution. Now this is a book that's given to each and every Master Mason that's raised to Master Mason in the state of Indiana. Please pay careful attention. They tell each Master Mason that by its legend and all its ritual, it is implied that we have been redeemed from the death of sin and the sepulcher of pollution. Hiram is accosted by three ruffians, Jubala, Jubalo, and Jubalum, who are demanding that he reveal to them the secrets of a Master Mason. Hiram is a righteous individual. He will not reveal the secrets to them until the proper time and place, and then only in the presence of Hiram, king of Tyre, and Solomon, king of Israel. The first ruffian fails to get the word from Hiram Abiff. The second ruffian demands, give me the master's word, or I will take your life in a moment. The third ruffian actually does take the life of Hiram. He is unjustly murdered. When he died, the word was lost because it could not be mentioned except in the presence of the two Hirams and Solomon. Hiram Abiff is then buried. After the grave is located and the body confirmed to be that of the Grand Master, Hiram Abiff, King Solomon, who's portrayed by the worshipful Master, declares that the Master's word has been lost. He declares that the first word spoken after the body is raised will be adopted for the regulation of the Master's lodges until future generations shall find the right word. Hiram Abiff is then raised from the dead by the strong grip of the lion's paw of the tribe of Judah. Jesus is the lion of the tribe of Judah. The first word spoken by Hiram Abiff after being raised from the dead was Mahabone. That is the substitute for the lost word. Hiram Abiff is a righteous individual who is unjustly murdered, buried, and then raised from the dead. Look at the way Hiram is laying. He has his arms outstretched and his palms up. Notice the crown from his head. What is the meaning of this ritual? Could this be a mockery of the death, the burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior? Remember, this is the most important symbol of Freemasonry, is the legend of the third degree.
Oh, hell no!
Who is the God of Freemasonry? How can we be sure of his true identity? Let's take a look at the Kentucky Monitor. This is page 116. They have some text on the all-seeing eye, which is the eye of Osiris. In most of the ancient languages of Asia, eye and sun are expressed by the same word, and the ancient Egyptians hieroglyphically represented their principal deity, the sun god Osiris, by the figure of an open eye. In like manner, Masons have emblematically represented the omniscience of the great architect of the universe.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Page, Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, and it is in fact written by Albert G. Mackey. Here's a portrait of Mackey, so you can get an idea what he looked like. This is the article on Bell, which appears on page 130 of this particular edition of Mackey's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Bell, spelled B-E-L, is usually pronounced Bell, but both Strong in his Hebrew dictionary and Fariabin in his prefer to say Baal. The word is probably the contracted form of some other Hebrew word, commonly pronounced Baal and spelled B-A-A-L, and he was worshipped by the Babylonians as their chief deity. At the top of the next column, we read that Baal signifies Lord or Master. Alone, the word applies to the sun god. With Jah and On, it has been introduced into the Royal Arch system as a representative of the Tetragrammaton. In the Royal Arch degree, that's part of the York Rite, the secret name of God is supposedly revealed. It is Jebulon. Jah stands for Jehovah, Bull stands for Baal, and On is a corruption of Osiris. The God of the Masonic Lodge is identified with Baal and Osiris. Yahweh, the God of the Bible, would not be pleased to be associated with them. We see that Masonry apparently worships several gods. Osiris and Baal are among them. There is one God which they refuse to worship, and that is Jesus.
Oh, no, you didn't.
We're going to look at what Masonic writers say about the God of Freemasonry. This book is Ancient Mysteries in Modern Masonry by the Reverend Charles H. Vail. We saw this book in Part 1, and we're going to take a look at some of the other things that are in it. This is page 26, and we're going to look at text that's further down on the page. And it reads, "In all of the initiations and mysteries, the gods exhibit many forms of themselves and appear in a variety of shapes, and sometimes, indeed, a formless light of themselves is held forth to the view. Sometimes this light is according to a human form, and sometimes it proceeds into a different shape." Notice that Vail, who is quoting Taylor, states that the gods sometimes appear as a formless light. Before we take a look at the writings of Swinburne Clymer, we need to know something about Manichaeans. This is from Mackey's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Manichaeans, also termed Gnostics, it's a sect taking its rise in the middle of the 3rd century whose belief was in two eternal principles of good and evil. They derived their name from Manus. Now, Manus is spelled several different ways in the literature of Freemasonry. I want you to notice that they believed in two eternal principles of good and evil. These forces were said to be constantly opposed to one another. Their god or gods had two natures. One nature was good, the other nature was evil. We're going to take a look at the writings of Swinburne Clymer. This is the mysticism of Masonry. And we can see that it's written by R. Swinburne Clymer, M.D. Manasis, spelled M-A-N-I-S-I-S, was the leader of a sect of Gnostics who were known as Manichaeans, according to Albert Pike. This is on page 565. Now, Swinburne Clymer wrote in The Mysticism of Masonry on page 19, "The mysteries have now, as throughout the long ages past, for their foundation the existence of God as Jehovah Adonai, the Father of Light." We've moved to page 52 of The Mysticism of Masonry, and Clymer writes, "This Jehovah was the avenging side of the Creator and is not the Jehovah Adonai, the Father of Light of the New Age, who is also the Father of the multitudes and the God of Manasis." Further down the page he writes, "Jehovah, the jealous God." The God of the Bible is a jealous God. This is page 29 of The Mysticism of Masonry by Clymer, and Clymer writes, "And Jehovah Adonai, that is to say, the Father of Light, spoke unto his messenger Manasis, saying, I will appear to thee in the image of light, for did I not promise those who have gone before thee that the woman clothed with the sun should be with them? And I now establish a covenant with thee, and bind my laws to a fulfillment of this covenant, that all of my children who will obey the laws shall be blessed and cheered when in misfortune or sorrow, for I shall appear to them in the fire as an angel of light." It is clear from the writings of Vail and Clymer that the God of Masonry appears as a formless light or as an angel of light. This is not a direct admission that Lucifer is the god of the lodge. However, let's see how Paul would interpret these Masonic writings. Paul warned us that Satan could appear as an angel of light. And he wrote to the Corinthians, "And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works."
Shut your mouth.
Pike reveals the source of Masonic light on page 321. Lucifer, the light-bearer, strange and mysterious name to give to the spirit of darkness. Lucifer, the son of the morning, is it he who bears the light, and with its splendors intolerable blinds feeble, sensual, or selfish souls? Doubt it not, for traditions are full of divine revelations and inspirations. Pike clearly reveals that Lucifer bears the light of Freemasonry. I want to remind you that this book is the apex of the teachings of the Scottish Rite.
What the hell was that?
I think we can all find meaning and value in one simple phrase, which to me sounds like the keynote of our common purpose. What we are is God's gift to man, David Rockefeller says. What we become is man's gift to God.
Oh, no, you didn't!
This is 1/4 as destructive, defective, who must be eliminated from the social body. Fortunately, you are not responsible for this act. We are in charge of God's selection process for death. We come to bring death. The riders of the pale horse are about to pass among you, grim reapers. They will separate the wheat from the chaff. This is the most painful period in the history of humanity. In the past, they were permitted to die a natural death. We are in charge of God's selection process for planet Earth. He selects, we destroy. We are the riders of the pale horse, death.
That's Pentagon Fort Bragg training manual.
Yeah.
In fact, read the quote. That's from the Earth Battalion.
Says Task Delta Force psychologist Barbara Marx Hubbard, supported by Rockefeller.
Yeah, but we actually have the manual on that. That's actually was taught to Special Forces.
And it's in a popular book.
Yeah, but as you said, Delta Forces taught that. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, she goes on to say, we come to bring death to those who are unable to know God. The riders, the pale horse, are about to pass among you. Grim Reap, well, I guess it's kind of repeated there.
Nuh-uh. Oh, no, he didn't.
The owl is in his leafy temple. Let all within the grove be reverent before him. Lift up your heads, O ye trees, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting spires. For behold, here is Bohemia's shrine, and holy are the pillars of this house. Weaving spiders, come not near.
Hail, Bohemians, with the ripple of waters, song of birds, such music as inspires the sinking soul, do we invite you into midsummer's joy. The sky above is blue, sown with stars. The forest floor is heaped with fragrant drift. Evening's cool kiss is yours. The campfires glow. The birth of rosy-fingered dawn. Shake off your sorrows with the city's dust and cast to the winds the cares of life. Let memory bring back the well-loved names of gallant friends who knew and loved this grove. Dear boon companions of the long ago. Aye, let them join us in this ritual. Not a place be empty in our midst. O beauty's vassals, who hold in this gray autumn of the world her springtime in your heart, attend our tale. Gather, ye forest folk, and cast your spell over these mortals. Touch their world-blind eyes with fairy unction. Open their eyes of fancy. Blow all the memories of yesterday and seal the gates of sorrow. It is a dream, and yet not all a dream. Joel Kerr and all of his works are but a dream. As vanished Babylon and goodly Tyre, so shall they also vanish. But the wilding rose blows on the broken battlements of Tyre, and walks rend the stones of Babylon. For beauty is eternal, and we bow to beauty everlasting. For lasting happiness, return to one alone, and she surrounds you now. Great nature, refuge of the weary heart, and only balm for breasts that have been bruised. Ye have cool hands for every favored brow, and gentlest silence for the troubled soul. The counsels are most wise. She healeth well, having such ministries as calm and sleep. She is ever faithful. Other friends may fail, but seek ye her in any quiet place. Smiling, she will rise and give to you her kiss. So must ye come as children. Little children that believe nor ever doubt her beauty and her faith, nor deem her tenderness can change or die. bohemians and priests, the desperate call of heavy hearts is answered. By the power of your fellowship, dull care is slain. His body has been brought yonder from the funeral pyre to the joyous pipings of a funeral march. Our funeral pyre awaits the corpse of care.
Here you have the boatman, his face is painted up like a skull, bringing the bound body across the water. Again, we'll have enhanced video of this later. And let's see if you can pick up all of the different occultic meanings in the speeches you're about to hear.
The shadowy tide, and all the ancient majesty of death. No arch enemy of beauty. Not for thee the tender tribute or the restful train. Fire shall have its will of thee, and all the winds make merry with thy dust. Bring fire!
Slay. Year after year, he burned me in this grove, lifting your puny shouts of triumph to the stars. But when again, he turned your faces to the marketplace, do ye not find me waiting as of old? Fools to dream ye conquer care!
Thou mocking spirit, it is not all a dream. We know thou waitest for us when this our sylvan holiday has ended. We shall meet thee and fight thee as of old, and some of us prevail against thee, and some thou shalt destroy. But this too we know. Year after year within this happy grove, our fellowship bans thee for a space. Thy malevolence which would pursue us here has lost its power under these friendly trees. So shall we burn thee once again this night, and in the flames that eat thine effigy, we shall read the sign, Midsummer sets us free.
Ye shall burn me once again! Not with these flames, which hither ye have brought from regions where I reign. Ye fools and priests, I spit upon your fire.
Yes, thy counsel. Thank thee for thy adjuration. Begone, dull care. Fire shall have its will of thee. Begone, dull care. And all the winds make merry with thy doubts. Hail, fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.